Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. Um, another week has gone by. We've had a little bit more rain, and we're going to have just, I think, some more tonight. And it's supposed to be getting sunny. I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday is supposed to be like high 70s, which it's been about low 60s, high mid 50s for a while. We did have one good day probably a week ago, but then it went back to rain. So I don't know. Yep. Today I did some weed eating in the yard, which I will say the yard is all weeds, but yeah, I don't like doing yard work when it's rainy and cold and cloudy. It has to be like 80 degrees before I go outside to do that. So we're preparing to mow the weeds because we don't have a lawn. It's all weeds. But anyway, it's green right now. Looks pretty. Cats love it. But anyway, we've gathered here today to go over my book reviews from February. And February, I was diligently reading, and I read 5 books in February, which is really good. One I had to roll over to March. I'm still working on that one. I don't know why it's taken so long. It's not a priority, and I just read what I feel like reading, pretty much. Um, yeah. So I had there were some good good reads this last month in February. I Out of my 5 books that I read, I had 2 that were 3-star, and the rest of them, the other 3, they were all 4 stars. So I had a pretty good time this February for reading. Um, yeah, January didn't seem so hot, so hopefully we've got over that slump. But anyway, so we'll go with let's see here. Let's try the 3 stars. Just get that out of the way. So I finished the Bill Hodges, Stephen King's Bill Hodges trilogy. It's Mr. Mercedes. The first one was Mr. Mercedes. The second one was Finders Keepers, and the third one was End of Watch. And I listened. I had the audio for End of Watch, and it was good. It was okay. I liked it. I liked it better than the second one. I liked it. End of Watch was better than Finders Keepers, I think. I think the storyline and the plot with End of Watch interested me more than Finders Keepers. Um, End of Watch had the character of Holly Gibney in it, of course, still, which I really like. And let's see, I'm trying to think of what End of Watch was about since it's been a whole month. But this one, End of Watch, End of Watch, End of Watch. We'll get back to it. So let's see, it's a horror thriller, suspense mystery is what it's labeled as, and the audio is 13 hours. And like I said, it's the number 3 in the Bill Hodges trilogy. And my God, my brain has stopped. So let me look that up in just a second. Okay, I've refreshed my brain. End of Watch. It goes back. So the second in the Bill Hodges trilogy, I call it the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, but that was the name of the first one. And the second one, it kind of veered off the path of the Brady character, who was the bad guy that started out in the first one, and it went off onto this other, which it did come back around in the end a little bit to the bad guy Brady character. But the second one kind of had its own thing. But the third one came back around to the Brady character, and Brady, he's still alive from the first one. He's in a hospital. He's supposed to be like a kind of like a vegetable, I guess. He's not be able to communicate. He had a brain injury, from when Holly tried to stop him from setting a bomb off in the first one. She hit him in the head, so he ended up in the hospital. But in this third one, it comes back around to him. He has like a hypnotic. He's involved in this with this doctor at the hospital and this like hospital librarian guy. They're all working. They have this video game that they've handed out to the teenagers that were at this concert that was on the in the first story that Brady tried to blow up the concert venue. And so he's still trying to get his revenge and what this story is about. It's a little I don't know what you call it, not paranormal, but he like uses this video game to hypnotize like these teenagers that are using this video game, and he can communicate with them like what is it, telekinesis or whatever you call it, mind communication, and so he takes control, and a few of the teenagers that have used these games have died, and he's anyway. That's how this one's going. It's like hypnotic video game where this Brady is character is seeking revenge, and the main character Bill and the Holly character try to find a way to stop him and find out what's going on, why all these teenagers connections are dying, and finding out who's doing this and how they're doing it. But it's just it's kind of like that. It's not like a cut and dry, like somebody shoots somebody and they die and you're after the bad guy. It's a little different, a little out there for a murder mystery type of story. So anyway, so the story was interesting enough. Like I said, I like this third one better than I like the second one. I gave it 3 stars, and again, it's by Stephen King. And I listened to the audio, but and on Goodreads, I looked it up. I think I looked it up yesterday or the other day. It had a 4.1 out of 5 rating, and I gave mine a 3. So it was okay. I mean, I wasn't super like it wasn't one of the stories from Stephen that I'm like super excited to read again or hear again or whatever. I know they had that TV show on I think it's on Peacock. I think it's you can get it on Peacock, but it did come on I don't know what it was on, FX or something. Before I seen the first series, I think there was 2 or 3 seasons, but I seen the first season on TV and I liked it. I liked the guy who played the character of Bill Hodges, and but I don't think I seen the other 2. So anyway, that's how that went. That was Into Watch, Stephen King. And so on my ratings, if you're curious, I just do whole stars. I know some people do like they'll do like a 3.5 or half stars in there. I decided just to do whole stars. So if I'm gonna rate something, I don't want to worry about if I want to make it a 3.5 or a 4 or a 3. I want to make a decision and either go it's 3 stars or it's 4 stars. I just didn't want to do the half stars. Just I feel like it would help me make a better decision on what I was feeling about how I should rate it. Because for me, because I feel like if I use a half star, I feel like I'm not really sure if I want it to be a 4 or a 3. If I did 3.5, and I just am the type of person, I just want to make a decision and stand by that. So that's the reason I don't do it. Doesn't mean I don't care that other people it doesn't bother me that other people use half stars or whatever, quarter stars, whatever you want, no stars. It's okay. This is just the way I wanted to rate the books that I read. So that's that. I'm not gonna have like 3.5 stars or 3.75 or what, whatever. It's a 3, it's a 3, or it's 4, it's 4. So the next one, the next 3 stars, I debated on this because I wasn't sure if I want to make it a 3-star or 4-star. At first I was like going to be a 2-star. I was kind of mixed up with this until I got to probably almost when I finished it. I decided to rate it a 3-star, and that is The Last Final Girl by Stephen Graham Jones. And this is a horror slasher type novel. It's a short novel. It's like 206 pages. And it's written in like a movie style, story style, because there's some things in there when like Stephen wrote the story, there'll be sections that'll be like point of view, and then it'll go for like girl running in the woods, branches hitting her in the face, like you would see a script for a TV show or a movie type thing. Not completely like that. It's not all like that, but it has things in there like that. That's like, I call it script style, but it also has the style of just reading a regular story. So that was interesting. I hadn't read anything like that before, so I did like that. It was interesting, because, well, I don't know about everybody else. I'm sure you do. When you're reading, you're imagining the story unfolding in your brain, and I always think of a movie version of the story anyway when I'm reading it. That's just how I always have been with my reading. I just think everything should be turned into a movie. But I watch a lot of movies. I watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of movies. But anyway, this one, The Last Final Girl, I did like that one. I liked, I read 3 different books that had the term Final Girl in it. I did Grady Hendrix, The Final Girl Support Group, and I read Riley Sager's Final Girl. I think it was called The Final Girl. And then I found out this one, Stephen Graham Jones wrote one called This Last Final Girl. And so I thought, well, I might as well round out my Final Girl selections that I've been reading with this one. And I'm glad I did. I wasn't sure about it, but I actually borrowed the book from the library. So I actually read it. It took me a little longer to read it than I thought. I just wasn't, I was paying attention to some other things that I was reading or listening to audios. And so it took me a little longer to get through this, even though it was like just over 200 pages. But I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. I liked it. It was okay. It wasn't one of probably my favorites. But for Stephen Graham Jones, I am reading the, what is it, Angel Lake trilogy. The first one was Heart of a Chainsaw. I really liked that. I ended up really liking that one. And then the second one I read, Don't Fear the Reaper, which is also in this February review. This is the second one. And the third one is, I don't know that it's out yet. I want to say it's not out yet, but it's called, I think it's just called Angel Lake. Something like that. I can't remember the name. Oh, The Angel of Indian Lake. Yeah, that's the third one. So as far as Stephen Graham Jones is concerned, I probably like the second one in that trilogy, which I'll be getting to talk about now. So anyway, the Final Girl, let's go back. The Final Girl, The Last Final Girl, it was, like I said, horror slasher style, like your classic horror movie, slasher, whether that be I thought I had a little Friday the 13th vibes, actually, just the character. So the scary monster person character in this story is wearing a Michael Jackson mask that's from the Billie Jean era of Michael Jackson. So the slasher killer they call Billie Jean, because this person is wearing this Michael Jackson mask that's the Billie Jean era of Michael Jackson. If you know anything about Michael Jackson, you know his different album eras and different style that he had throughout the years. But yeah, so this bad guy character is Billie Jean, and it's a bunch of high schoolers. He's already did the the story opened up with he's slashing his way through already, and he has offed a bunch of teenagers, and there's one girl that survived, and she is like a popular girl, and it's just a classic popular girl. I think she's a cheerleader, yeah, and she's a homecoming queen, like the one for the homecoming queen, like the one that is usually going to get picked, the popular girl, the most popular girl. Um, and so what she does, they haven't had their homecoming yet. So because all of her friends died that were in the homecoming, I forget what you call it, the group of homecoming people, court. That's it. That's the word, court. The homecoming court. All of her friends were killed during this rampage, and so she had to pick a whole new homecoming court. So she picked, which, okay, if you're gonna, that would seem like, yeah, somebody that's popular and make sure is going to make sure they're going to win. They pick all the odd. They would pick some odd people to make sure that you would win the homecoming, right? If you really want to win. So that's what she did. She picked the odd girls, the not popular. There's some not popular girls, some odd girls, and one of the girls is the actual. I would consider her the main character of the story, and she gets picked for homecoming court, which she's horrified because she doesn't want to do anything like that. And so and she's a horror fan, and her thing is that she's trying to figure out who who was this Billie Jean character, and she thinks that this Billie Jean person isn't dead, and so the whole thing is like, is this person going to start again? She's thinking there's going to be another final go around with this Billie Jean killer, and so she's kind of preparing, like, what the final showdown is going to be, and she ends up going ahead and being part of this homecoming court. So the whole showdown comes down to, I think, the day of the homecoming, and so yeah, there was another round of killing. I don't know how to I don't know how to describe this without giving spoilers away, but there was another round of the killings, and she's like the so it's talking about the final girl as this one popular girl because she was the final girl, but yet there was all these other girls in this group that were actually final girls from other things that had happened to them from their life, and so they were actually all the homecoming court was all final girls, and so this main character, the one that outs the girl, she totally doesn't want to be homecoming queen. She don't even want to be on the homecoming court. She thinks it's stupid, and but she ends up having to fight like a final girl, this Billie Jean character slasher from killing. So it just sets it up like that. It kind of goes through, the Billie Jean character didn't die off after the first round of killings, and so the rest of the story is set up that it's going to come again, and then of course at the end it has the big showdown, and I'll just leave it there. It's a short story. Like I said, it was pretty good. I gave it a 3 stars. It was okay. I did enjoy parts of it. It is because it is horror. It is graphic. I will say it's a horror, so it is graphic. It's a horror slasher. There's differences to me. That's horror, and then there's horror slasher. To me, I feel like horror slasher is like more gory than graphic, than just like a horror story maybe Stephen King might tell about some monster living in the woods or something. But yeah, it was good. It was Stephen Graham Jones again, so he's a horror. He writes horror type stuff. Like they said, this Angel Lake series, it's a horror series also. So yeah, so Goodreads gave that 3.1 out of 5 rating for that, and I gave it a 3. But you should, if you like that horror slasher type genre, this might be something you might want to Try, like I said, I know I'm repeating myself, and it's short, but I hope you understood that review. It sound to me when I'm listening to myself talking, it sounds like not making sense, but maybe it will. Uh, excuse me. So the next one I have that I read was again the Angel Lake series by Stephen Graham Jones. I read the second book in the series, Don't Fear the Reaper. Um, I gave that one 4 stars. I did really like that one. I did give the first book in the series 4 stars also, the My Heart is a Chainsaw. And I think I might have liked this Don't Fear the Reaper a little bit better than the first one. I think it had more what would I say? Page turning excitement for me that I kept wanting to read it more quickly than I did the first one. And you kind of step right into it as far as the action. I mean, it's like action right off at the beginning. And I feel the first one had a little bit of that, but I feel like it wasn't as intense as the second story was as far as the horror and what was going on with, of course, killing. So in the first one, there was a character. The main character is Jade Daniels. Her full name's Jennifer, but she went by Jade. But so at the end of that one, she ended up going to jail because she did some things that apparently were illegal, and so she had to go to jail. And she was like, she had just graduated, or she didn't graduate. She still had some um, she didn't quite finish her, the stuff that you need to do to graduate. So that she didn't get to go and fully graduate. But anyway, she ended up going to jail. She was like, at the time, she was 17. I think she had turned 18 there at the end. And in the second one here, she's been released from jail. She's on it's been like, I think it's been 4 years late. It's 4 years later, I think. And she's in her early 20s now, and she's going by Jennifer now, not Jade. She feels like she's not that person anymore that she was in high school, so she wants to like get a fresh start. But she does come back to town, and her friend, or the girl that was in the first one, that was also had to do with trying to find the killer of the things that was going on, is Letha Mondragon. She's back in this story. I'm sorry if you haven't read if you're reading the first one, or you haven't read the first one. It seems like Letha didn't make it. But anyway, in the second one, Letha shows up. And it's a little, I should have learned from the first one. This story's a little out there. I thought it would go along to maybe more, I don't even know what you would call a normal horror slasher killing thing would be. It's there, I guess there is no normal, but she a bad guy's back. I'm trying not to do any spoilers, so it's really hard to talk about certain things and not tell you what's going to happen, except for Letha came back. So anyway, Jade's returned to town, and there is a killing that happened, and they think they first think it's a prank from some kid, the high school kids. They have this prank now since the first book, the first story that happened. There's like a whole myth going around, a little, they've created their own, like, I don't even know what you would call it. Boogeyman. Yeah. And, oh, sorry. We'll pause. My doggy girls have heard something and are barking. So, I think it's quiet now. Maybe. Minnie's going to continue to bark for like another 5 minutes. So it is what it is. Um, so in this story, so like I said, Jennifer has gotten out of jail. She's come back to town, and right off the bat, there's another murder that starts happening, and she's like not wanting to be part of this and doesn't want anything to do with it. And she gets pulled right back into this whole thing again that got her into trouble in the first place. And so her and this friend of hers, this Letha, they're trying to figure out who this killer is. Oh, and by the way, so in the story, there's this serial killer that's been going across the country and killing people. And so they captured him. And and this story takes place in Idaho. So this whole setting is like Idaho. But this killer, they've captured him and they're taking him to I don't know why they're taking him somewhere, to a prison or something, or back to another state where they're going to try him, I guess, or something like that. I can't remember why they're taking him, and there's like this whole big caravan with police and it's been snowing, and they end up coming down this highway that's going to go through this town in Idaho, which is Proof Rock is the name of their town. I don't know if it's a real town, but that's the name of the town in the story. And so in this caravan trying to get this killer to wherever they're taking him, there's a big blizzard that comes through. And so there's like the sheriff of this town and I think it's just the sheriff of this town. I think they're part of the escort, but they ended up leaving. And so one of the deputies is like in charge, and he's like a new deputy, and he's worried about being in charge, and he thought maybe nothing, he was hoping when this guy's out of town that nothing's going to happen and he can just sit there and pretty much babysit the whole town. But then all these killings started happening, and now he has to man up and be like the sheriff, and he doesn't want to do that, but he's got no choice. And then he's now married to this Letha character, and they have a little daughter, and so now he's like he has to man up and be brave and protect his wife and his kid in this town and all this stuff. So what happened was that this caravan carrying the serial killer has disappeared. Like, they can't get a hold of him. There's a big blizzard. They think the phones are out, but technically this caravan has had an accident and this guy got away. So he ends up showing back up in Proof Rock. And so they think he's doing all these killings. And then, like I said, it's a little has a little bit of, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it paranormal or weird vibes. I don't know. So you think that's going on. And then there's like this other mysterious stuff going on that has to do with like this story about this lake and this girl that drowned, and she was like kind of like a witchy vibes. Witchy vibes going on. And so some kind of supernatural things going on at the same time. And so people start getting killed off, and it's a winter time. There's like a really bad like snowstorm coming in. The sheriff's out of town. It's only the deputy. It's like a classic kind of horror. Like I said, it reminds me of a Friday the 13th. But so all that's going on, and so Jennifer, the main character, she has to man up also and get back and try to find out who's doing the killing and start protecting people. And she didn't want to do that, which, if it was you and you were in the first one and you had to deal with all this killing, and then you end up going to jail, and then you get out and you go back to town, like, I wouldn't want to deal with this crap either. I'd be like, no, thank you. I don't know why she came back to town, honestly, but I don't know. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of scary. It is graphic. It's a graphic horror story, as far as it's really graphic with the killing and how things happen. There was probably some times I had to set the book down that I read the ebook. So I set my ebook down and took a time out. But I don't get scared by that. I don't have bad dreams when I read this stuff. So I'm not one of the people that I get scared that I can't read it. It It doesn't bother me like that. It's just usually when I'm reading it is kind of if it grosses me out or whatever. But I don't have nightmares or any, it's a story. That's that's how I see it. It's a story. Somebody made it up. It's the ones that aren't made up that are based on true stuff that's um scary. Yeah. Nobody wants that to happen. But anyway, I gave that 4 stars. It was pretty good. The ending was I should have learned from the first one. Had like this it had a like I said, the story has like a supernatural type vibe going on with it too. And at first I was kind of like, the first story just kind of took me by surprise. I should have learned with that one because I was thinking this was going like a normal killer way, and then it had another surprise. It surprised me again at the end. So the third one, when it comes out, and when I read that one, because I'm gonna read it, um, I'm gonna be prepared for the supernatural vibes because I didn't learn my lesson with the first one. So anyway, if you like stuff like that, like kind of like a horror, it is a horror slasher type, I feel, style. So if you like stuff like that, it is a good one. Like I said, it got 4.1 out of 5 um on Goodreads, the rating. So, and I gave it a 4. So I'm probably right along with the average. And yeah, I did that. I read that one online through the Libby app I have. But the next one coming out, I thought it was coming out in March this month. It's The Angel of Indian Lake. So that's the third one. And I'm hoping to read that one soon. I don't know if I'll be able to get it. I think I have it on a notify me when it's ready through the Libby app with the audio, and if the audio is available, the audio and the ebook. So we'll see when I get to that. And then next one I read was The Outsider by Stephen King, and that was very interesting. I gave this a 4 stars. I listened to the audio, and the narrator of the audio was Will Patton. He also the audio I listened to for the Bill Hodges trilogies. He narrated those, and so I thought I'll listen to the audio with this one because I liked him as a narrator. And so it was really good. I actually really liked it. It's a thriller, horror, suspense genre. Um, the audio was 19 hours, and the Goodreads rating, it was a 4 out of 5. And like I said, I gave it a 4. But this also follows, this also had the character of Holly Gibney that was in the Mr. Mercedes Bill Hodges trilogy. That's the reason I found out she was in this story. The character was in this story too, and that's one of the main reason why I wanted to read this book, because I want to. The book, it's called Holly by Stephen King, is out. It's been out, and I've been wanting to read that one. But then I heard I was, I don't know if I was Googling or if I was listening to something on YouTube, but it was talking about that Holly Gibney is in these other ones that it would be a good idea to read these other books before you got to Holly, just so you get a little bit of backstory of what she's been doing. And so I did that. So the next one I want to read after The Outsider is, and it's in my online cart, my Libby cart. It's If It Bleeds, and I think that it's by Stephen King, and it's a few short stories by Stephen King. So I think one of the stories in there has a character of Holly Gibney, and I'm not sure what that is. I'm on hold for that. I think that one is, I don't know if it's several months out still for me, so it's going to be a little while before I get to that one. But anyway, I did get through The Outsider. I really liked it. This definitely had about halfway through. So it's about this boy is killed in this town, and this man who is the coach, little league coach, and he's a teacher also in school. Um, everybody knows him. He's a popular guy. Like I said, he coaches Little League, and their little, um, the Little League at the time is in like a playoff game or whatever, and he gets arrested for this murder of this local kid. And he was like, swears up and down he didn't do it. It wasn't him. And the detective, that one of the main character detective, he arrests the guy, and his kid was in this, played Little League, and this guy coached his son too. So it's a small town, everybody knows everybody. And so they arrest this coach in the middle of this playoff game, where to see if they go to, I think it's the championship game. So everybody in the towns pretty much showed up, and so he wanted to make a spectacle of arresting this guy in in front of everybody, to say that they caught this killer of this kid. And like I said, this guy, the coach, he swears up and down he didn't do it. He was somewhere else. He has a solid alibi. He was out of town at a teacher conference, or yeah, a teacher conference type thing in another city, out of town, and couldn't have possibly been there at the time that this happened. And the detective has evidence, like solid evidence of DNA, that it comes back to this guy. And he also has eyewitness accounts of seeing this guy there at the time, that there was a van that this guy had, and he ran into the boy that got killed, picked him up. His bike got a flat tire or something. Anyway, he picked him up, and somebody seen the kid get into this van that this teacher was driving. So there's like solid evidence that shows that there's eyewitnesses that he was around at the time. But then also he has a solid alibi with these other teachers he was with away at this conference in another town, that shows him there, and he's on camera and all this stuff. So you're like, okay, it can't be in two places at once. But it's a Stephen King story, so maybe you can. That was my thoughts when this all came up. So maybe you can be at two places. So I was trying to work out how he could be at two places at once. He has a twin, okay, identical twin DNA, but the thing is, there was fingerprints also that linked it back to him. So like, I don't think identical twins have the same fingerprints. I'm not sure. I don't think so. But anyway, so there's different things I was trying to come up with. So it was going halfway through, and then it has like supernatural vibes starting to happen. So I think, okay, we're gonna go down some road that I don't know, because this is turning into something that's, I can't guess like a normal thing happening. So it goes down a road, like a dirt path. We're off the pavement, and probably about halfway through the story, the character Holly Gibney shows up. She's hired. She's still working for the Finders Keepers detective agency, and somebody contacts her and wants her to investigate this alibi and some other stuff. So that's how she gets on the case, and that's how Holly shows up. So Holly shows up probably about halfway through, and she lasts till through the end of the story. So anyway, yeah, it has a supernatural vibe. It's Stephen King, and I liked it. Okay. But yeah. So the next one is The Highway by C.J. Box. This one I gave 4 stars. This is actually the Highway Quartet series. It's like a Cody Hoyt / Cassie Jewell. But this is also, there's a TV show called Big Sky. And sorry, I'm moving around a lot, aren't I? Hope I'm not making you dizzy. Big Sky on TV that I started watching, and then I found out it was from a book series. And so that's how I started. Sorry, there's a bird outside, like a hawk or a seagull. I don't know. It's making noise. It's a noisy video today. It's a noisy video. I need a drink. Just time out. We'll do a unpaid advertisement. I've been really liking these Brisk iced teas. And this one's the Blackberry Smash. It's like my favorite. I get it at the Dollar General. It's like $1. If I get them at Walmart, I get this kind at Walmart. It's like $1. I think they're $1.28 now. Anyway, I need to, I need a drink. They're really good. It kind of tastes grapey, even though it says blackberry. It's purple. I like purple. Purple's my favorite color. Okay, sorry about the pause. We just had to get that out of the way. And I'm not paid by Brisk at all. No, I'm not. Would I like free Brisk iced tea in the Blackberry Smash? Sure, I would. But I'm not getting it. So, anyway, back to the highway. Here we are. Back to the highway. 4 stars. This follows the Cassie Duell Cody Hoyt character series by CJ Box. And like I said, it's a TV show, Big Sky. So I read, this is the second book in this series. I read the first book, and the first season of Big Sky, the first episode actually starts with the second book, which is The Highway. And it's about this trucker. Not all truckers are bad. I know a few truckers, and they're very nice people. But sometimes when people create stories and they need something bad, it's easy to make a trucker because they're long haul. In real life, there's been bad truckers. But this character is one of the main bad guy. There's like 2 main bad guy characters. So one of them is a long haul trucker guy, and he kidnaps women from the truck stops. The truck stop that has prostitutes that show up at it's a thing at the truck stop for the truckers, and he picks them up and he kidnaps them and things. And so that's happening. And so it kind of, the thing that rolls over from the first book that I read into this one was there's these 2 sisters, and they were in the first book. They were in the first book where they were doing a backpacking horseback trip in the it's called Back of Beyond in Yosemite. They were with their dad and they went on this trip. And anyway, that's how the first one was in. And they met Cody's son, Justin, was on the trip. And so the oldest sister and Cody's son, Justin, kind of like are boyfriend and girlfriend, but it's more her wanting to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's like online, like, because they live in different states. So it's not like they can see each other every day. But anyway. So these 2 sisters are on a trip. The oldest, they're supposed to be going to their parents are divorced. Supposed to be going from their mom's house, I think it's in Nebraska, to their dad's house in, I think, Ohio for Thanksgiving. Well, the oldest sister, who is all about herself and the world revolves around her and she don't care about anything else but what she wants, she decided that she's going to go see Justin, who she thinks is her boyfriend, in Montana. And she didn't tell the sister until they start on this journey. And the sister doesn't want to go on lunch. The little sister is more sensible and level-headed and thinks about other people and other things. And the oldest sister is very not. So the little sister's mad at the big sister, but there's nothing they can do about it because they're in the car traveling, and it's the oldest sister's car, and she's the one driving. Anyway, they ended up texting this Justin and saying, "Oh, by the way, we're coming for Thanksgiving," and he's like, "Okay," like he's wanting to break it off with her, but he can't stop her. Anyway, they're having car trouble, and lo and behold, they run into this trucker, and they almost get run off by the road by him. And then the girls are mad, and then the other girl, she flips them off or something, and then they speed off, and they think they've left the trucker in the dust. Well, the car breaks down, the trucker shows up, and you know what happens? They get kidnapped. And so anyway, this whole time is trying to find these girls who's got them, where are they at, and you come to find out this trucker, he's in the kidnapping. Well, it was prostitutes from the truck stop, but this is kind of a different um this is different from his usual mo. And then the other guy in this story, one of the other guys in the story is a state trooper. And so all these characters are in the first season, the first show of the first season of Big Sky. So you see the Cody Hoyt character, you see the Cassie Duell character, you see these two girls that get kidnapped, and you see the trucker guy, and you see the state trooper. It's this story is following the same path. So yeah, so all those characters are in the same in the first episode of the first season of Big Sky. So because I seen that, I kind of, when I started reading this, I realized it was going to, but it's a little different because there's some things in there that happen that don't happen, and then there's some things in there that happen, um, just like it did in the show, and it kind of leaves you off how how the first episode ended. This book ends in a similar way, so it kind of leads you into the next series, just like the show did. So that was interesting. I like that because I kind of knew what was, happening, but you never know with a book, because the book could be completely different and have a completely different ending. And anyway, so yeah, it's about these girls that get kidnapped, and Cody is he's got suspended again from the police department, like he did in the first one. And now that he has a new partner, this Cassie Duell, she's trying to help him out. And then you find out that his son, this girl's coming to see him for Thanksgiving, and her and her sister have disappeared. So the whole thing's trying to find these girls, what happened to them, where are they at, who took them, and it unfolds from there, which is pretty good. So this is the second one, like I said, and then there's at least 6, maybe 7 more in the series. Yeah, so I think out of these books that I've read, for me doing a review, I feel like The Highway was the easiest one for me to tell you what's going on. But anyway, yeah, I didn't read a synopsis or anything. I just kind of basically went over the books I read and what I rated it. I hope some of the review part made sense, because when I'm talking to you and I'm talking about this, I feel like in my head it's not making sense. Sometimes when I rewatch this, it makes sense. Other times it doesn't. Sorry. It's just how I am. I think with time we'll learn to be a better reviewer. But it is what it is. So that's my reviews. I'm sticking with it. Oh, I think the Goodreads review for The Highway was 3.92 out of 5. And like I said, I just do whole stars. So mine was a 4. Actually, it was a little higher than Goodreads. And yeah, I do like this series. It's the genre is mystery, thriller, suspense. I would kind of put a little western, not westerny, but it's like in Montana, so it's in the west of the United States. So, but it's not like like you would see a standard western with, like, living in the 1800s horseback riding. It's not that. It's a modern story. They have, internet in their car, and that's the thing with the girls. Their internet is not reaching in the area that they're at, so they can't. They're out of contact. They're like blacked out. They can't really call. They can't text. They can't find out anything, and then their car breaks down, and it's just a bunch of stuff. It's just, that's why I don't like to travel in mountainy areas, because you never know. But yeah, don't piss off a trucker either. Anyway, most truckers are good. They would not do that. They would not do that. Like I said, I know some truckers. They would not do that. Just, it's a story. So yeah, so that's the review. That's my February reviews. Boy, that one got a little tongue twisty. I'm currently almost finished with, so I'll just recap a little bit of what I'm reading and where I'm at. So what I'm currently, I was I had the ebook that I'm reading. Karen Slaughter's Fractured. It's the number 2 in the Will Trent series. And actually, I found the audiobook on YouTube. So I started listening to that. I'm more than halfway through. I think I listened a little bit this afternoon, this afternoon, and I'm right now I'm at 82%. So I don't have that much more to go. And that one's going really good. That one is Fractured, is where the TV show Will Trent picks up. The first episode of Will Trent in the first season, that's where that show picks up, is with this story. So I'm a little bit familiar with that. I'm really liking that one. And also an audio I'm listening to is Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I heard about this from the YouTube booktube people, and I was thinking it was more of a mystery suspense. It's labeled as a psychological fiction, sports fiction, which it's about a hockey team in, I wasn't sure where it was. It was just I just know it's like a woodsy, icy, snowy place, and I thought it was Alaska. I don't know. I don't think they said. It's just called Beartown. That's the name of the town. And what happens is a girl ends up being, I haven't got to that part yet on the book though, but in the synopsis, a girl is assaulted by one or more of this hockey team. It's a teenagers on this hockey team. It's not like a professional adult people. It's a local, like a little league, but it's a little league for hockey team. So something happens and she's assaulted. And it divides the town, because the town is all counting on this team's doing really good and they're going to win one for the ages. And this town really doesn't have anything going for it except for like hockey. And I'm not a big hockey fan. I mean, I've watched some hockey on TV, so I know. Actually, I don't really know a lot about the game rules. Yeah. But I've watched it. We'll just leave it at that. So it's interesting. It's not a I'm listening to it on audio. And so I like the narrator. The narrator's name is Marin Ireland. Never heard of her. Apparently she's did some acting too. But anyway, I Googled, and this guy, Fredrik Backman, he's Swedish. So I'm assuming this is translated from a Swedish novel. So I'm assuming where the icy, snowy town background type thing is probably like some Swedish area. I don't know that there's an actual town called Beartown. I don't know why I didn't Google that. But it's probably like a Swedish area. I would think. It's probably not Alaska. Anyway, also another thing I learned when I Googled about this was that this is also a series. I didn't know it was a series. I thought it was a standalone book with just this, and then when I Googled it, because it seemed like it was going slow to get to the part where you think the mystery is, there's the outside cat over at the neighbors, Mr. Bumbles. He's not really our cat. He just showed up, and then now he's a baby daddy. But side note, yeah. Lots of things happen out my window. We're never going to get through this video. We're never going to get through these reviews because I keep getting distracted. I probably shouldn't do it in front of the window. Anyway, another thing about this Beartown is it is a series. I didn't know that. It's the first book in the series. I don't even know what the series is called. I just have the next one is called Us Against You, and then that's the second one. And the third one is The Winners. So I didn't intend to start another series, but apparently now that I'm listening to Beartown, I feel like, and all I know is there's 3 books. I just feel like I'm going to have to invest myself in these other 2 books just to see what happens. Because I feel like the whole thing's not going to end there at this book. Anyway, And that audio is 13 hours long. But so that I'm doing those. I'm still reading. Yes. Yes, I am. I'm still reading Hollywood Wives by Jackie Collins. Now, I'm just slow reading it because I'm getting sidetracked with these other ones that I'm reading, which this is just a little different type. This is a little different type of genre that I usually read. But I will tell you, the fascinating thing about this one was not that it's just about Beverly Hills Wives and things that go on with that kind of drama, but it started off with a murder right off the bat. So that got me hooked in pretty good. And so it bounces around from this group of Beverly Hills housewives. It's kind of like a reality before. This was like before those reality shows with the housewives and stuff like that. This is way before. Jackie Collins wrote this in 1983. So we're, way classic with these Beverly Hills housewives. But it's just about stuff like that. The husbands, the wives, the affairs, apparently there's a killing mixed up in there. I don't know how that's all going to conclude together, but yeah, somebody's writing a movie, they're trying to cast it, and then you have all these couple of older actor guys that they're not as famous anymore, and anyway, it's all that drama. And so we're still continuing that one. I think I'm about 30 something percent on that one. Oh, and in Beartown, the audio, I'm about 31% through that one. So we're at that. And I think that is right now the only ones that I'm reading right now. And like I said, I'm almost done with Fractured. I should be done, if I don't finish it tonight, I'll be done with it tomorrow. And then we'll be moving on and hopefully getting through my TBR for March that I planned. That's at a standstill, sort of. Not really. Anyway, so that's that. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Like I said, it's supposed to be sunny here. Hopefully, we're only at Monday. Yeah. I was thinking Friday. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's supposed to be high 70s, sunshiny. That means I'm probably going to have to mow the lawn at some point. Maybe the front lawn, because people can see that. And like I said, it's a stall weeds. But anyway, it's a green, and if you mow it, it looks like lawn, right? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so happy Monday. Well, you're going to see this on Tuesday, so forget that. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. And get yourself a brisk iced tea. The blackberry smash is pretty darn good. Okay, we'll see you back here later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.